Madam Chair. Mr. Secretary, thanks for being here. I want to tap your expertise for a moment. Give me your best estimate, just an estimate, I know, of how soon you think the United States of America will be carbon neutral.
So I think, according to the climate scientists around the world, and certainly the cutting-edge scientists that we need to rely on here in the U.S., we've got to get carbon neutral by 2050, and I'm very comfortable with that target, and I think that's the appropriate target.
By 2050.
Which is only 27 years. That is not a long time away.
And how much will that cost?
So the cost that I focus on even more is all the costs that are going to happen if we don't get our act together.
How much will it cost to get us carbon neutral?
It's going to cost trillions of dollars, and it'll cost tens of trillions of dollars if we don't get our act together.
How many trillions?
I don't have the estimate or the numbers in front of me. I've seen a variety of different estimates, but it's a large amount. Fundamentally transforming our energy economy is a big deal.
Tell me the estimates that you've seen.
I don't have those numbers right on hand.
So you're advocating that we become carbon neutral, but you don't know how much it's going to cost?
So there's an awful lot of estimates out there. It depends on technology improvement and other kinds of things.
You're the expert.
I know with
how much it's going to cost.
I know with the certainty of all the experts I've spoken about, it's cheaper to get our act together than it is to not get our act together on climate change.
Okay, then tell me the cost versus the cost that if we don't do it.
I think it's orders of magnitude different. If we don't get our act together, it's
you don't have a cost. You want us to get there, but you can't tell the American taxpayer how much it's going to cost? Is that your testimony?
It's going to save us money, and there's a lot of jobs.
Well, how do we know if you don't know how much it's going to cost?
I'd be happy to pull up the latest numbers that I've seen.
How about $50 trillion? Is that right?
It's going to cost trillions of dollars. There's no doubt about it.
Okay. If we spend trillions of dollars and we achieve, some of your colleagues estimate 50 trillion, and it disappoints me that you're not willing to give the estimates. I hope you're not telling me you have no idea how much it's going to cost. That creates a whole new host of problems. But if it costs $50 trillion, as some of your colleagues have testified, to become carbon neutral by 2050, and I'm all for carbon neutrality, by the way, how much is that going to lower world temperatures? Or how much is that going to reduce the increase in world temperatures?
So every country around the world needs to get its act together. Our emissions are about 13% of global emissions.
Yeah, but if you could answer my question, if we spend $50 trillion to become carbon neutral in the United States of America by 2050, you're the Deputy Secretary of Energy. Give me your estimate of how much that is going to reduce world temperatures.
So first of all, it's a net cost. It's what benefits we're having from getting our act together and reducing all of those climate benefits. We're seeing.
Let me ask again. Maybe I'm not being
country.
clear. If we spent $50 trillion to become carbon neutral by 2050 in the United States of America, how much is that going to reduce world temperatures?
This is a global problem. So we need to reduce our emissions, and we need to do everything we can.
How much?
Welcome back. Today's video dives into one of the most jaw-dropping exchanges you'll ever see on Capitol Hill. A U.S. Senator asked a simple question: how much will becoming carbon neutral cost, and what will it accomplish? The answer? Well, you'll want to see this to believe it. If you care about climate policy, government spending, or just want to understand what's really going on behind the headlines, don't go anywhere. In a recent Senate hearing, U.S. Senator John Kennedy pressed Deputy Secretary of Energy David Turk for a number, any number, to estimate the cost of achieving carbon neutrality in the U.S. by 2050. Is it going to cost $50 trillion? You want us to spend trillions, but you don't know if it lowers world temps? This was more than a political grilling. It exposed a critical gap between climate ambition and climate accountability. So let's talk about the number. Some estimates say achieving net zero emissions could cost upwards of $50 trillion over the next few decades. That includes transforming our energy grid, electrifying transport, upgrading buildings, and more. Costs include infrastructure overhauls, subsidies for renewable energy, retraining labor forces, carbon capture, and storage. But here's the kicker. The government doesn't have a publicly clear or consistent figure for the ROI, the actual reduction in global temperatures. And when questioned directly, the Deputy Secretary couldn't provide one. The U.S. accounts for about 13% of global CO2 emissions. Even if we hit net zero, the world still depends on countries like China and India to follow suit. US 13%, China 30%, India 7%, rest of world 50%. Senator Kennedy's point was sharp. What's the measurable global impact if the US alone goes carbon neutral? The silence was deafening. The Biden administration argues that green investment will pay.
If we do our
Other
part, is it going to reduce
So
world
we're
temperatures?
13% of global emissions.
You don't
right
know,
now.
do you? You don't know, do you?
You can do the math. We need to.
You don't know, do you, Mr. Secretary?
So we're 13% of
If
global
you know,
emissions.
why won't
If
you
we
tell
went-
me?
If we went to zero, that would be 13%.
You
of
don't
the
know,
solution.
do you? You just want us to spend $50 trillion, and you don't have the slightest idea whether it's going to reduce world temperatures. Now, I'm all for carbon neutrality, but you're the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Energy, and you're advocating we spend trillions of dollars to seek carbon neutrality, and you can't, and this isn't your money or my money, it's taxpayer money, and you can't tell me how much it's going to lower world temperatures? Or you won't tell me? You know, but you won't?
In my heart of hearts, there is no way the world gets its act together on climate change unless the U.S. leads.
Tell me how much it's
The
going
US
to
needs to
reduce.
lead.
You can't tell me. Either that or you won't.
We're
And-
13%,
and that's
15%
that
roughly
the
of
President of
global
the
emissions.
United States needs. I've still got a few seconds. I got 22 seconds. I'm going to use them a different way. Mr. Secretary, shaming you for not answering my questions. Madam Administrator, how are we going to get plutonium pit production back on track?
Well, thanks, Senator Kennedy. We are doing, the most important thing we have to do to get pit production back on track is get craft workers.
How do we move forward with confidence? Climate policy shouldn't be a guessing game. It should be a national strategy backed by data, logic, and trust. What do you think? Should the U.S. lead the charge regardless of cost? Or do we need clearer answers before writing trillion-dollar checks? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for real talk on policy, energy, and the future. Share this video if you believe transparency should be non-negotiable.